Y'all would have had KD. I think y'all would have won that.
I think so.
All right, guys, you new here, please like and sub to the YouTube channel. Road to 100K. Today, I'm interviewing two-time NBA champ and one-time NCAA champion Quinn Cook. Really dope interview. I'm not gonna talk too much. Let's get right into it. How was it coming up in DC? You were born and raised in DC, right?
I was born in DC, raised in PG County, Maryland.
Okay.
15 minutes. Well, literally like this right next to DC. But yeah, definitely PG County, Maryland is where I grew up at, and kind of just lived a good life. Had a great childhood. Had both my parents, older sister. So like I had a very blessed and fortunate childhood for sure.
You play with DC Assault for AAU. How'd they to help you develop through your high school career?
Yeah, I mean, it was a dream come true for me. Growing up in the area, obviously, they were the premier team. So
Yeah.
you get stories about DeMar Johnson and Keith Bogans and your Ray Brewers, and obviously, I grew up. I was born in '93, so I was right under like Mike Beasley and Nolan Smith, and they had Chris Wright and all these guys that like idolized Austin Freeman. All the guys that like I idolized, they played for Assault. So like growing up, that was like the premier team. Like you was nice if
Play with DC Assault. Facts.
that was always the dream.
Nah, that's a fact. Beasley tough. I see Beasley always Miami training. Cool dude, bro.
Yeah.
I ride with Beasley. You went to DeMatha with Oladipo? Were you there at the same time as him?
Yeah.
And you stayed 3 seasons, right?
I did 3 years. I did 3 years at the Mavs.
Team, y'all were stacked. Yes. How was that team with y'all? That's crazy.
Like, I mean, PG County's so small, man. Like my first memories of me playing basketball was county, and me, Jared Grant, and Jeremy Grant were on the same team. I
Oh,
was like
that's crazy.
I was like 6, Jared was 7, and Jeremy was 5.
Okay.
So yeah, I grew up playing AU with them. And I met Victor. I transferred to this Catholic school, Catholic middle school. I was having some problems like in my neighborhood public school, my local public school. So
Mm.
my dad, he put me in my parents put me in a Catholic school that was right next to the Mather. And my dad wanted me like to see the vision, like this is where I want you to be at. Because everybody from my middle school end up going to the Mather or end up going to like a top high school. So
Yeah.
I went there, and like I said, it was Catholic school. Like it was totally different from the school that I was going to before.
Yeah.
And Victor, like my first day there, like I had no friends, I didn't know anybody. And then I recessed. I think I was in the fifth or sixth, and Victor's a year older than me, and
Mhm.
I didn't have friends, I didn't know anybody. And Vic just came up to me, like never met me, never knew me, nothing. And he was just like, bro, like um, basically I'm your guy, like I'm your friend, like I've been here my whole life. I know all the ins and outs, and I'm gonna look after you. Literally my first day, and then ever since then, fifth grade, me and Vic, we finished elementary and middle school together, and then he went to the Mather his ninth year. I was still in the eighth,
Mhm.
and he played freshman. Him and Jaron Grant, they played freshman their freshman year. And when I got to the Math, I played varsity, so we all kind of played varsity together. So we did 3 years together at the Math. Back then, like
Yeah.
you had to see all the players. Like there's so many AAU teams now, so it's kind of different. Like you might gotta play on a Nike circuit, so you might not see the guys on Adidas, or you might not see the guys they had Reebok back then. But
Mm.
back then it was like, man, like the best players, you're gonna play for this team or that team, and y'all gotta see each other. You know what I'm saying? And
Fact.
it's just like we all worked out together. So like my trainer was Hanif Hill. So like Hanif will have, all his pros, and then another trainer, Keith Williams, he had all his pros, and like we'll meet up at run and shoot, and they'll just let us rep. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause that's the only way we get better. Like obviously
Facts.
it's cool to do the drill work, the skills, and get better, day by day with that. But you play against the same dudes every day. You know what I'm saying? You might be the best guy in the gym. You might not get that challenge, but when we was doing that, like you had to see everybody. So like I was young. I'm playing against Taiwan Lawson. Like I'm in a seventh grade. He's about to go to North Carolina, and he's just killing me. But I
Mhm.
need just throwing me back in the jungle, kept throwing me back in the jungle. And I'm like, man, if I am I going against Taiwan Lawson every day, like when I get against guys my age, like, you
You gonna
know,
kill him. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So that was like the
Yeah.
mentality we had here. So Like growing up seeing guys like Taiwan, like Kevin, like KD's, like I mean, no kid
Crazy.
had that experience. So we're definitely fortunate to have that type of, product come from here for sure.
You ever got to play KD during that time period, or was that like later on? You
Yeah,
definitely ran into him. Yeah, you did.
yeah. So my second AAU team, I played for the PG Jaguars and KD. So I was 9 and KD was playing 13. Yeah, we're 5 years apart. So I was 8, he was 13. So we played on the same AAU team, but like he was just on the older team. So
Team, yeah.
spent so much time together. That's when him and his brother and his mom really, honed in on me because I was one of those kids like I love the game. So like I would practice our practice, and then I would wait and have my mom like come later so I could watch Katie in the practice. Like I wanted to, watch them practice and really like I didn't care about getting out there yet. I just really wanted to just like watch and like be a student and because those guys like I idolized them. So Kevin always took a liking to me just because our love for the game. Like my mom or my dad, they'll just drop me off at our gym. We had this big gym called Run and Shoot,
Mhm.
and it was like a free fall. Like and just you had the big the pros and you had the college kids and the kids who like had the chance. They all played on the main court, and I literally would just sit there and watch. Like so, I saw Calvin Cage, I saw Steve Francis, I saw all these guys like play, and Kevin, he just stuck out. Just you just knew he had something that was different than everybody. But like we had that love, like we'd be in the gym all day, and he's been my big brother ever since.
And then years later, you in the league playing with him. You were McDonald's All American. Like you had a wild high school career. I don't think you realize how much stuff you did in high school. You played McDonald's. You played in the Elite 24. Oak Hill. Y'all won 30 games. I do remember that.
We lost
Yeah.
30. We lost in the championship and I think it was double overtime and triple
So,
overtime. We probably would have finished like number 2. St. Anthony's, they had Miles Mack and Kyle Anderson. They were really good. They didn't lose at all that year, so they was gonna get the national championship, but we lost in the ESPN Rise, whatever ESPN
yeah.
championships, or for us to be number 2 in the country, and we lost that game. Something I'm still sick about. My good friend Justin Anderson, I hit the free throw to put us up 3 in the first overtime. He comes down and hits a crazy 3 like across his body. Ties the game up. They end up beating us in double overtime, and he reminds me about that a lot. So we won 2 gold medals together. Obviously, he's from Virginia, so I remember meeting him when he was in the 7th grade. He's always been a special talent, man. But Justin, he's like one of the best humans you'll ever meet, man. And us bonding, we were in high school, and us playing, in the D League, us playing against each other in the league. Um, he's one of the better guys in it, man. And everything that he's got, he deserves. And obviously, he's on his quest to, get back where he belongs. So guys like that, we have that special bond with each other.
I put a lot of work in with Remy like every summer. So seeing him work is dope. Or you play with Steve Smith. This is where he retired and everything. So how was that? How first of all, how'd you get to Oak Hill? I don't think I covered that part. So what made you go to Oak Hill?
Obviously, we were younger. Oak Hill was the school,
The
right?
epitome, yeah, yeah. And Katie went there too. So
Yeah.
that helped, yeah.
And Taiwan was there at the same time. And you hear it like I remember watching LeBron play Oak Hill, on TV, when he was a senior. Like that's how far it goes back for me, like being a fan of Oak Hill. Then doing the research, you see this guy went here, you see Steve Blake went there, you see Jerry Stackhouse went there, Rob Strickland, Ron Mercer, like all these guys who I've idolized my entire life. So you start paying attention, right? And then when Kevin went there, his junior year in Taiwan, that's when I really like became like an Oak Hill fan. And then the next year, Nolan Smith and Mike Beasley went there. So
Mhm.
I remember going up there with them. I remember I rode with them to drop them off, and you just see all the history. Coach Smith was real nice. He was real cool. Um, you just see all the history. I'm like, man, it's the same guy. I've been watching on TV my whole life. It's crazy. Blah blah blah. So when Nolan was up there, he did 2 years. I would go a lot. Like his mom and my dad, my mom, his mom, they understood like how much of a basketball fan like I was. So anytime his mom would go pick Nolan up, she'll let me ride, and I would like spend the night like on their couch, and like Brandon Jennings went there Nolan's last year. So
Yeah.
I got to meet Brandon Jennings. You know how crazy and famous he was in high school. So like
Fact.
So like it was a dream come true. But like I said, when I went down there for Nolan's graduation, and my dad drove, told my dad, I was like, man, I'm gonna be good enough to go to Oak Hill one day.
Mm,
So had a good freshman year, had a good sophomore year, and I had a big sophomore year AAU wise. And I think Momo Jones was the point guard at Oak Hill, and he was leaving. So Coach, Smith tried to get me my junior year, but I felt like I wanted to finish, with Victor and Jaron at DeMatha, and I really wanted to, make a statement in the city. I didn't want to do 2 years in the city and leave. Kind of wanted to make my, statement here in the city, and then end up having a really good junior year. We won both championships. We finished top 3 in the country,
mm,
and I won Player of the Year here. First time, a junior has won it in 30 years. Was
yeah.
not WCAC, but All Met Player of the Year. And we had like Kendall Marshall, Victor, Josh Harrison with the Duke with me, Tyler Thornton with the Duke, Markel Starks, one of the best scorers ever
Mm.
um, here. So I won it over those guys. I just like needed a new challenge, really. Like, I was getting in trouble here, and not like street stuff, but like
Like
just like
normal shit.
teenager stuff.
Yeah.
My mom and my high school coach Mike Jones just felt I needed a new challenge, man, and so we called Coach Smith, and he signed off on it, and we got it done.
Take me through that McDonald's game. You had it was you, Bradley Beal, AD, Jeff Teague brother, what's his name? Marquise Teague or something like that. Yeah, so how was that? So when you first got the announcement that you're gonna be McDonald's All American, and then when you went, it was in Chicago when you went.
That was the first year they brought it back to Chicago.
Yeah.
After a while, it was great, man, because like I said, like I grew up this big fan, right? And I remember watching my first McDonald's All American game, 2002, with Carmelo, Amari Stoudemire, Bosh, JJ Redick, Sean Dockery. It was a Madison Square Garden. I'm just like, what game is this? And just do your history, do your homework on it. These are 24 best high school players in the country. Blah blah blah. So like that was the goal. I got to be a McDonald's All American. Then you see Taiwan and Kevin be All Americans in '06. And then we had 4 from PG County in '07. Chris Wright, Austin Freeman. I was in Louisville. I actually went to the game. So that was great. Like, that year, '07 was Blake Griffin, James Harden, Derrick Rose, Eric Gordon, Kevin Love, like Jared Bayless. Like it was
It's,
crazy, crazy stack.
damn.
Green,
Yeah.
Dante Green, my guy who I hoop with every day. He's from Baltimore. He was in the game as well too. So Maryland had 5 representatives that year. But yeah, I mean that's always the goal. Just you want to be a McDonald's All American, and to make it with like Brad, AD, all my guys who I played, against and with my whole time in high school. For us to be there, representing, our families, our cities, our schools was dope. But one thing about our game, I remember it was so much trash talk. Like Brad and Austin always had this kind of. So, Brad was on the East, Austin was on the West, and Gilchrist, he was like Mike Gilly, he was like always number one. And then here comes AD. He just took over number one spot after, a couple tournaments. So he had that kind of, I'm number one. So
Yeah.
me and T, like we always went at it. Like I remember losing to Moot when I was 9, and like 9, he played with Indy Hoyas. They ended up winning the national championship. Then we played each other the next year, and we beat them in the Final Four. So me and him always had this like, what I'm saying, this is competitive. I love him like a brother, but when you're on the court,
You gotta
you know,
kill him.
we always want to compete. So it was extremely competitive, and it was fun, man. It was sold out, proud, man, and we had some household names come watch us play, man, and it was great. We ended up winning. And nah, it was fun. It was a great experience for sure.
They still had the same like kind of schedule. Like when you get there, you got to meet with people and
Yeah.
everything. Who came to? Did someone come to speak to you guys like in private? They usually have
Not
like some speaker.
that I remember, but I remember our schedule was just so packed. Like we was
Yeah.
doing stuff all day, like foundation stuff, going to the hospital, actually going to like the main McDonald's and just being with the fans. And we had practice, and then we would have a banquet. Like we had just a lot of stuff. But it was fun, man. Like I said, like you know, you develop these bonds with these players, man. Like, it's like your extended family. And
Yeah.
obviously, we're all coming from where we come from. we're the man on our AU teams, we're the man on our high school team. So it's fun to just, man, how you deal with this, man? How you dealing with college? How you picking your college and blah, blah, blah. So, all 24 of us could relate to each other. And no, that was an unbelievable experience, man. Like I never took pictures and stuff growing up, but like that's the first event. I'm like, man, I'm gonna take some pictures. Like I'm gonna really, try to remember this moment, man. And my mom came, my uncle came, my godfather came. So now it was an experience that I still, I'm thankful, that I was a part of that for sure.
Got to compete in that. And then from your McDonald's, great year at Oak Hill, you went to Duke. You chose Duke over UNC. Smart choice. Smart ass choice. Smart choice. Smart choice. So you chose Duke over like UNC. I forgot what other schools you were considering at that time, but I just remember the UNC one vividly.
Played, Duke, Carolina, UCLA, Georgetown,
Yes.
and Kansas, and
Oh,
UConn.
you.
So it's really like it was like really six, but really, really, really UConn, UCLA, and it was really like the three that I really like. That's what it came down to.
What sold you on Duke? Like on going to Duke?
My brother Nolan, he was there, so
Okay.
he was there for 4 years. He had just won a championship in 2010.
Mhm,
So but like anytime like I had any kind of break in school, I was going straight to Duke. Like I was going down to Duke, like, and I was living with Nolan, like just watching him practice, watching him work out.
mhm,
In the summertime, I'd be down there for an extended time. So I had relationships with Gerald Henderson, John Shire, Kyle Singler, like all these guys. And then obviously the coaches who was there, they always, allowed me just to. And then like when I kind of start coming into my own, getting recruited and stuff, like Duke, then Coach K offered me my sophomore year.
mhm,
Um, no, actually my freshman year. That's that summer before I got hurt. And I just had this rapport with them the entire time. And obviously, like, I entertained other schools. Like I wanted to have that whole process of being recruited, going to this visit, that visit, having, all the college coaches come and watch me play and stuff like that, which was cool. But Duke was always like number one in the back of my mind. And I just had that connection with Coach K, man. And he always never promised me, during that time, even now, what am I talking about? Even now, coaches is gonna tell you what you want to hear.
oh
And
yeah, yeah.
minutes, you gonna go to the da 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 da. Like just giving me all these promises, man. And coach was just like, man, my only promise is that I'm gonna coach you as hard as I can for 4 years. And I'm gonna be your coach on and off the floor. And I lost my dad. So he like stepped in a role like where, when it was, holidays or special days, like he always like would when like obviously there were restrictions with recruiting and stuff, like communication and stuff. It's not like it is now, but anytime like they could communicate, like handwritten letter, a call, like on a special day, stuff like that. And that's what really stuck with me. And like I committed in 2010 and I graduated in 2015 and it's 2024. And there hasn't been a Father's Day Coach K has missed. There hasn't been a Christmas. There hasn't been the anniversary of my dad's passing. There hasn't been a year that Coach K's missed that going to the day. And I just turned 30. So I mean, like
Mm.
he stuck on his promise about just being there and being just, a father figure and a role model for me more than a coach. So like you said, it's I'm so happy I decided to go to Duke for sure. I know from a culture standpoint, I know what how I helped Duke and how I still help them to this day. So
Yeah.
um, they helped me way, way, way more than I helped them. But I
Right.
know my legacy there is forever, appreciated just because obviously we winning the natty. We were Coach
Oh,
K last natty, but like, you know, we kind of made that transition from one and dones. So
mm,
like it's hard to win with freshmen just because other teams are so experienced, but those guys do John, Tyus, um, Grayson, and Justice, man, they just were so humble, so giving, so willing to work, and we had some hungry upperclassmen coming back, so it meshed
nice.
together. And the coach had us prepared like no other, man. And I'm so happy we won it, man. It was a great, great, great feeling.
What's like a day to day at Duke though? Like I've always been curious. Like how is that with Coach K?
It's tough, man. It's you got your morning stuff you got to do if you got to lift, or you got a guy. Are you a guy who gets extra shots up? You got to get it in the morning. You might got an 8:30 class, or we usually practice later in the day, like 2:30, 3 o'clock, just around because people's schedules are different. But I was always in the gym early. I go to class or I go to study hall, do whatever. And if we had practice at 3, I'm in the facility at 2. Nah, I'm in the facility at 1:30. I always try to make my schedule to where I can get in there early, get treatment, to be a professional.
Mhm.
So if we had rules like if we had practice at 3, nobody should be walking in the gym no later than 2:40. Like I know schedules gonna permit itself sometimes, but let's be on time. Let's get a good sweat. Let's get a good lather. So when we get to practice, we don't gotta. Coach K was real big on that, and he left it up to the upperclassmen and the guys playing to set that standard. So like when you're a freshman, I was listening to Seth Curry. I was listening to the Plum Mason and Miles. I was listening to Josh Harrison and Tyler Thornton. So Brian Kelly. So when it was my turn to be that upperclassman, like that was the standard, and it was player enforced. So um, it was fun, man. Practice was always intense, but like we weren't in there like 2 3 hours. Like we were in there an hour 15. We're gonna watch a good amount of film. We in there an hour 15. Sometimes be in there 45, just depending on our schedule. But like coach gonna get after it. Like we're gonna get after it. If we ain't been playing well, he gonna cuss us out. We gonna
Yeah.
like the first team ever, but we playing well, he's gonna be our biggest fan. So it was great give and take. And I think we all kind of just different teams I was on, like we always had the talent, but sometimes we never could always put it together, from a full season standpoint. Because I was on 2 teams that lost in the first round. Like, and if you like Jabari Parker, like he's the best player in college, like he has no business losing the first round. Rodney Hood was on that team too, but that season we could just never figure it out. And we ran into a tough Mercer team. My freshman year, we lost to Lehigh, obviously CJ McCollum. That's why March Madness is so fun. You just one and done, and anybody can be beaten. So that's why when teams figure it out, get to the Final Four, have a nice run, win a championship, you got to understand like it's the first to 6. So nah, man, it's good to be a part of history. A couple of those new teams for sure.
Was there ever a time you thought you would be one and done? Like ever when you were going through high school and all the way up?
Yeah, so obviously being a highly talented, recruit. I remember Kyrie, he had
Mm,
committed, and I
okay.
never did this. Kyrie had committed there, but obviously at the time, one and dones weren't like
Popular.
weren't,
Yeah.
weren't unless you was going to Kentucky or you was going like Duke. I think I don't want to be wrong, but I don't remember the first one and done from Duke before Kyrie. Like I can't tell you that right now. I'm thinking Luau Dang maybe, but I don't want to be wrong. But
Yeah,
that was
yeah, you're right.
Kyrie came in 2010, and that summer 2010, I was on the U17 USA team,
Mhm,
and he was on the U18. So like that team had him, it had Quincy Miller, it
mm,
had Austin Rivers, just like a couple guys in our class who were just older to not they couldn't play with us,
mm,
but a couple of guys in the class of 2010. And our team, so like me, Brad, James McAdoo, Gilly, um, Justin Anderson was on that team,
mhm,
Johnny O'Brien, Adonis Thomas. Like we had a nice team. But we did our training camp in San Antonio. So, we would practice in one gym, and then Kyrie and them would practice, U18 would practice, right? So
okay,
we and obviously Coach K, was the head basketball coach for the men's team. So he flew in to watch a scrimmage.
mm.
When I say like Kyrie, like I started on that team, I started on him. He gave me 8 straight. So they
Off
put
the rip?
off the rip, they put
Dang.
Teague on him. He caught 7 straight. So they're like, all right, well, let's put a bigger guard on him. Let's throw Tony Roden on him. He goes 8 straight sub. Like he's like going nuts. Like it was probably that's like the one time. No, not I'm lying, but that's the first time that I felt like helpless against somebody that's like my age.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this dude is ridiculous, and I'll never forget. That was the day of the draft. I was like the old the 2010 draft. So
Yeah.
we all went to Dave and Buster's and watched the draft. And I got a call from Coach K, and Coach was like, "Quinn, you did well." I mean, I did play well too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I killed Kyrie or nothing, but I
Mhm.
played well. I'm competing against them, and I played really well. But Kyrie just was way, way better than everybody. But I remember Coach, he called me. He was like, "I think we got to be more aggressive with your recruitment because one, you're getting better, you're playing well, but two, I didn't realize how good this kid Kyrie Irving was, and he definitely won't be here longer than a couple months. So
Mhm.
we need a point guard in your class." So like they started recruiting me way, way, way heavier after that. But I'm saying at the same, like that's how good Kyrie was. Like he was incredible, like incredible. Still is obviously incredible. At that time, like he was on a different level.
Know how nice you gotta be for Coach K to say that about you? If Coach K say that, you are stamped.
So to answer your question, like at that time, like I thought I would be one and done, like because I had a lot of momentum. I was going to Oak Hill, and then I tore my meniscus in Elite 24 a
Mm.
day before my senior year. So I was out the first 2 months of my senior year, and I was just never healthy my senior year. Like I had some great times at Oak Hill, but like they'll tell you like I couldn't really practice. Like some games, like I just didn't feel like playing just because my knee wasn't right. So after the hoop summit, USA hoop summit in Portland, I went to Duke the next day, and I did like checkups, and I did the MRIs and X-rays and stuff, and they shut me down. Duke shut me down for the entire summer. So I was just doing rehab that whole summer. So like we went to China and Dubai. I couldn't play because I was still hurt, and I missed like the first like 2 weeks of practice in my freshman year. So I was always playing like catch up. Like anytime we lost, Coach K would throw me in there, like, not throw me in there, but he'll make me the starter. Like,
Mhm.
so Coach wanted to start me from the rip. And I think like if I was healthy, like I'm not gonna say I was one and done, but maybe like I thought I'd be like two and done because physically, like I just wasn't like I'm not a one and done type player. Like I'm not jumping out the gym. I'm not like this crazy athlete. Like I think like to be 6'1", like you gotta be either
Kyrie, but Kyrie's not either though. He's overly skilled.
Irving is just like one of the best players ever. So like
Yeah. No, facts.
I never really wanted done. I saw myself like a two and done type of guy.
Like the way college was, especially then, if you would have just put up straight numbers, like
You definitely right. I don't want to sell myself short, but
yeah,
yeah,
you could have. I think you could have.
see thinking like I never envisioned myself being one and done.
It's fair. But I knew like if you go to school like Duke or Kentucky or UNC, you're gonna have a shot. You know what I'm saying? At
Yeah,
least so you always get that opportunity. When you were at Duke, right? When they would have let like certain trainers come, because I know Kyrie he did something with you heard of Impossible Basketball or something like that? Yes.
Micah.
Micah, I think that's his name, Micah Lancaster or something. I don't know if he trained anymore. Was there ever a chance for you to get work in with Kyrie while you were at Duke?
Yeah, so my going into my freshman year,
Mhm.
after I got drafted. That was the lockout.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
So he was down there. He was down there for good. He did because he was trying to finish school. So that our second semester of summer school, we all had to be there. Um, you know, he was there the entire time, and then when we started, you know, first semester in the fall, he was still there. Uh,
Okay.
um, doing rehab for his toe. What he obviously that was his injury, at Duke. So he was there every day with us. He was
Mm.
watching us practice. He was going to class with us. He was, still being, college kid with us. So we were with each other every day. He couldn't do nothing live until he got to Cleveland. But yeah, we got a lot of work in. Like I said, he's a gym rat. So we always were really really close from high school, but we was in the gym, up 10 hours, me, him, Tyler, Josh, just we always just getting work in. A lot of times I go in there early, Tyler being there before we got to practice and stuff. So man, he was in there a lot. But yeah, like there'll be different trainers coming in. Obviously, you know, most of the time it would be like if it wasn't early morning, but usually just always like late at night, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to be respectful to, our coaches and the women's coaches and stuff. So
Mhm.
If like had a trainer come, it'll be like late at night a lot of times.
You guys would have played together if he played 4. Y'all would have got
Yeah,
1 year. That would have been dope, you know?
he's we have the same birthday. He's like literally 1 year older than me.
Alright, so when you declare for the draft, how many teams you work out for?
I had 13 workouts. I had 13 workouts with no, a lot. I had 14 workouts with 12 teams. I did 2 teams twice. I did the Clippers twice, and I did
Okay.
OKC twice. I
Like,
know
there's
8 teams that brought me back. They were really interested in drafting me. Both those teams had second round picks, like where they was gonna take me at. But yeah, my agent at the time, he did a good job of like, all right, if I'm in LA, I'm gonna knock out Phoenix and I'm gonna knock out the Clippers while I'm out here. Like some guys, like we'll have a workout that we just worked out for the Lakers.
mm.
I'm like, yeah, I got Phoenix tomorrow. He like, man, I got Boston tomorrow. Like he has to do cross country, go to Boston, and then his next one might be in Texas. A lot of agents that had you all over the place. My agent, I kind of hit every time. If I had to work out in New York, I took the train from New York to Philly and worked out with the Sixers. Like so, nah, it was fun, man, because you're seeing like the same guys. You all kind of going through the same thing. Workouts is always cool. My year 2015 was the first year they brought back 5-on-5 in the combine.
Mhm.
That's what helped me a lot because I knew I wasn't going to measure like I'm not going to measure off the charts. Like my measure numbers ain't going to be crazy.
Mhm.
But like I know we're gonna be able to shoot. I know I'm gonna be probably the best shooter here. And if we play 5-on-5, I mean, I'm always figure it out. And that helped me a lot. Like that raised my stock up a lot. So I remember the first night, I might have had like you have like interview times, right? So you might got the Clippers at 10 o'clock, and you might got the Wizards at 10:30. You know what I'm saying? So like some guys, they list probably
Crazy.
crazy, son. And I ain't gonna lie. My first night, I only had like 5 teams. Like I felt out like,
Mhm.
hey, bro, like we got 5 teams, and this dude he got 25. Like blah blah blah. But after the first day of 5-on-5, like it went from 5 to like 18. The next night, like, I had all 30. So like I did well at the combine. It was a great experience for me.
So you went through them private NBA meetings where they're asking
Yeah,
crazy questions about
I ain't gonna lie, keep it 100 with you. Like 4 teams, 3 teams. I'm not gonna say the teams, but 3 teams. My whole interview was about Jaleel Okafor. Like my whole
why did
interview,
they do that? I don't
and one team, my whole interview was about Justice Winslow.
what were they trying to get out of you? Like were they asking about them or they were just
Them, you really just asking about them, like, and the ones with Ja, like they knew how like close me and him were, like we literally did everything together that last year. He was very vocal about that. So yeah, man, he like they was like it was like a first 48. How does he prepare? How's he with his family? And how's his like everything? Like, like I'm always have my brother back. Like, he the best player in the draft. Like he generational, like which he was to me. I thought, no, I'm not saying he was not generational. Like I thought he was the best player in the draft. I thought he was the best player in college. At that time, like I thought if he rolled the ball out, I'm taking Jaleel over Cat at that time. You know what I'm saying? Obviously the NBA has evolved to where like, Cat is stretch five, can shoot the three, pick and pop, we throw it down to him.
Mhm.
Amazing defender, amazing shot blocker. But at that time, like Ja used to always say, like, man, Cat ain't trying to see me right now. Like that's why we wanted to play Kentucky. Like we wanted them. Their team was crazy, but we
Yeah,
got
that seems
hearing about that they're undefeated and blah blah blah. And then we went to the Final Four. Like they were so swagged up. Like they all had they beats and they had chains and
there. Coach Cal Perry got them right though. He
swaggy. Like they was
yeah.
but like we was like, I mean, what's up? Like you feel me? Figure it out. So
Yeah.
losing to Wisconsin, obviously their team was crazy. Like their team was incredible. But yeah, man, like at that time, like I think we all felt that Ja was, the best player in college. So, read my interviews was about him. Stuff was real basic, man. 'Cause like I wasn't a lottery pick or first round pick. So they probably didn't do that much extensive like research on me. And obviously like my story is kind of like known for everybody. Like I had a couple teams like reach out to like my AU coaches and my like young coaches and stuff, but um nah, man, I heard some like man, they reached out to my 5th grade teacher. Yeah. But
Good facts.
it's like when you about to make, an investment for millions of dollars. So they want, before they make that investment, you want to do as much research as possible. So, I respect it for sure.
When you're going through the draft, you went through your process and everything. Did you have a feeling you would get drafted though that draft?
I was 95, 97% sure that I was getting drafted the night of the draft for sure.
Okay.
And when I started doing like, because I had a great senior season. Like I was All American, won a national championship.
Mhm.
I was second leading scorer behind probably the #1 pick. Like I was a leading scorer in conference. Like I was all defense. Like and coach was very vocal about that. Like growing up, I was never known as a defender, but my last 2 years, like the best perimeter player, I was guarding. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Me and Justice would switch off. Sometimes people they were bigger. But like me and Matt Jones, like that whole season, like Matt Jones would start sometimes, but sometimes he wouldn't. But 9 times out of 10, I was getting the task to guard the best player on the perimeter. So I thought I proved everybody defensively, like, hey, like I can do everything. Obviously, offensively, like I broke some assist records at Duke, and I scored the ball in my senior year. So I'm like, I mean, I've been a scorer my whole life. I mean, if y'all been doing y'all research, y'all know what I did at DeMatha. I know what I did with Assault. Y'all know what I did at Oak Hill, scoring. Obviously, Duke, I had to play a different role, but when I needed to be a scorer, I was a scorer.
Right.
So I just knew I was getting drafted, but you're a senior, you never know. You play below the rim, so you never know. But then when we start doing workouts, and I'm like chilling, like it's all 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 and getting up shots. And
Yeah.
then that's
It's
literally
life.
that's for me. So I'm
Facts.
doing well in my workouts. And I had a couple teams promise me, like, all right, if you're here at 45 or 49, we're gonna draft you. But they had just brought that draft and stash thing back where like, all right,
Oh yeah.
that was the thing at that point, like
Yeah.
we're gonna draft you, but like you can't. Like I had 3 teams on draft night, say, all right, we're gonna draft you here at 43, but you have to agree to draft and stash. We're gonna draft you, have your name called, but you're gonna play summer league with us, but you're not gonna come to training camp, and you got to play the entire year in the G League. Like
Mhm.
we're our team, and can't get called up by nobody, and we're probably not gonna call you up. So it's basically like you getting drafted for to go to the G League, which is cool, like what I'm saying, but like my agent was like, "What you want to do?" And I'm like, "I ain't on that. Like I'm
You
trying to,
try to play.
I'm trying to be in training to compete for a spot."
Yeah.
So, um,
Facts.
like, then I didn't want to do a party. I didn't want to do nothing. But I'll never forget, man, the day of the draft, they put like their last mock drafts out, and on 2 of them, well, one of them I was going 26 or 27 to Brooklyn,
Mhm.
and the second one I was like 31, 32.
Mhm.
So I'm like, "Hey, mom, yeah, we might got to do something." You know what I'm saying? She was living in an apartment building. She rented like the little theater out, and I had like 20 people come over, and I just knew I was going to get drafted. But um, when it got to like, they like, yeah, so we're going to draft you here, like, but it's going to be a draft stash. I ain't feeling that. I ain't with it. So by the
Mhm.
time 51, you know, my agent told teams not to go ahead and draft, and we want to pick, where we're going to play summer league at and where we want to go training camp at. So it was tough, and it's still just to have that undrafted, stigma on
Mhm.
you. It's tough, but I'm happy I did it because
Mhm.
it made me go harder. It made me appreciate stuff a little more, and it was something I always wanted, but like it wasn't like the end of the road. You know what I'm saying?
But you're one of the few players who went undrafted and got a ring. Matter of fact, you got 2 rings. But we're gonna get to that. So that's like tough territory to be in. And also you played a big role in both of the championships you got. With the Lakers and with the Warriors. That was dope. So we'll get to that. So who would you say was the first team to give you an opportunity?
Okay, see,
OKC was the first one. You had to play in the G first though before you got.
OKC wanted OKC was the main team. Like I said, I worked out with them twice.
Yeah.
And they had 2 picks. They had a lottery pick, which they ended up drafting campaign.
Okay.
They drafted Dakar Johnson, but I don't we can look it up, but I want to say that pick was in the 40s. And
Okay.
I said like I was the first, no disrespect to Dakar, but like they wanted me to take that pick,
Mm,
that draft edge, and
okay.
the car agreed to it, and like they the whole and he was killing that year, and
Facts.
he was G League the whole year. So but they gave me my first opportunity this campaign. He was hurt, so I remember KD called me. He was like, "Yo, I want you to come play summer league with us. Like, I'm gonna make sure it's done." So I played summer league. I went to OKC for like the training camp because that one was in Orlando. So we did like a training camp there. And it was cool because I mean, it wasn't cool that he was hurt, but Kevin, that's the year that he, messed his foot up. He was out the whole season. So he was there. Like usually like none of the superstars is there at that time in the summer. But
Facts.
he was there. So like I was staying at his crib. Like they had hotels for us, but I was staying at the crib like normal. And he just giving me game, like do this, do that, watching practice and stuff. Monty Williams and Billy Donovan was there. They were our coaches. So, he was just like, man, do this, do that. And I had a good showing. Like I had a really, really good showing in Orlando. And I think I had like 20, 22 and 11 one game. And then Cleveland was like his OKC wasn't playing in Vegas. So like, man, look, Cleveland's like, man, look, like after y'all last game against the Clippers, we're gonna put you on a flight from Orlando to come play with us in Vegas. And I got out there and I didn't really play like a lot, like I was in OKC, but I was the only guy from summer league to get invited to training camp. So they invited me to training camp. So now I'm like, here I go from being undrafted to, in training camp 2 months later with Bron and Kyrie and Kevin Love. So I would say OKC and Cleveland gave me my first two opportunities.
How was that first like training camp with them? I know that was crazy.
It was lit. It was lit. It was so much fun. So Kai was hurt. Remember he got hurt in the finals,
Fine. Yeah, that's right.
messed his knee up. So he was rehabbing, so he wasn't on the court. But like I said, they had just lost in the finals.
Mhm.
He came back hungry. Like Shump was starving, Swish was starving, K Love had got hurt, so he was starving. Delhi was like everybody on that team came back with just like a chip on their shoulder. And I'll never forget, man. I had a conversation with Gilbert Arenas the night before training camp. And he was like, man, only thing I'll tell you, young fella, is if practice is at 10, make sure you're in there no later than 7. Like, and just do it every day. And obviously you can play, but like you got a relationship. Like I had a relationship with Bron. I was staying at Kyrie's house. I had a relationship with, Swish, just so obviously the guys were always gonna like me. So I had that on my side, but just be a professional. So I tell this story all the time. So I'm all right, bet. So Kyrie gave me one of his cars. I'm like, man, I'm gonna leave early. I'm gonna eat breakfast there, blah. So I get in Kai's car, drive probably about 30-minute ride to the facility, Kai's house. And I go in there, put my stuff on, just put my shirt, shoe, all that stuff on, flip flops, whatever. I go in the kitchen to get some breakfast. They have a chef in there. You can order whatever you want. You got a 5-star meal in there, right?
Yeah.
I'm in there. I probably eat breakfast for about 15 minutes. And as I'm coming out, I hear like this grunting noise. Somebody working out. You know what I'm saying? Like getting after it though. What? And I don't know the facility like all the way yet. So bend the corner, and I go the wrong way. So the trainer's like, "You trying to get back to the court? Go that way." So as I, make another left to get back to the court, gotta go to the weight room. LeBron's in a full sweat, like drenched. Like it's practice is at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got there at 7. I ate a meal for 15 minutes, so it's probably about 7:18, I say 7:20.
Mhm.
Bron's in there in full sweat, getting after it. Like, and this is Bron in 2015, like 4 MVPs later, 2 rings later, like
Mhm.
still like, working as if he's trying to make the team like I am.
Mhm.
That it just opened my eyes, bro, and just I had a different respect. Like, this stuff doesn't happen by accident. Obviously, these guys are generational players. They're gifts from God. Like they're just different, but like they work for it too. You know what I'm saying? They add the hard work in. So he was always the first one in the gym. Like literally every day, he was the first one in the gym. And he just makes everybody feel like important. Like, you might like some superstars, I'm not saying like I ever saw it, but like some superstars probably not talking to the guy on the exhibit 10 who probably gonna be here for training camp. You know what I'm saying? Those guys might
Right.
not, you know, develop a relationship. But LeBron gonna make, the rookies feel important. He's gonna make the people who take the garbage out for the organization. He's gonna have a bond with them. He's gonna have a bond with the guys who rebound for us every day. He's gonna have a relationship with the video coordinator. I mean, like that's his gift. And it opened my eyes with just hard work, man. I'm like, if LeBron's in here working out, I gotta take it to another notch, man. And that training camp was amazing.
Seeing that, and then along with like your own journey as well, like all the when you were getting caught up, getting a 10-day contract. You got a 10-day with the Mavs, and then playing in the G League, being an all-star in the G. It's kind of like similar to like Justin. Justin's like in the G playing NBA in the G, like the same thing. That grind of like being in there, waiting for that call up, and then for you to get 2 rings out of that,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So that's special right there. But going forward, so when you got the first 2-way, you got because you had a 10-day with the Mavs, right?
Mhm.
And then you had a 2-way with the Warriors as well. So when you got the 2-way, did you think you'll get caught up? I know the Warriors are known for giving that opportunity, but
it was crazy because Dallas was doing this, and obviously I love Dallas. I'm so appreciative of Mark Cuban and Coach Carlisle for giving me my first opportunity. Because I was going crazy in the G, so like it was a breakthrough. Like they kind of started like, all right, enough is enough. Like call up Quinn campaign. Like it was like from everybody. And I remember the All Star game, Isaiah Thomas like the Pistons, Isaiah Thomas. He was commentating the game, and my mom, after the game, I go to my phone. Obviously, like I'm at the game, I can't hear what's being said, but like guys bring their phones out, like for like I think they did like a dunk contest or something after. So I go get my phone, and Isaiah grabs me. He's like, bro, like you in NBA? I'm like, dang, Isaiah Thomas like knows who I am. Like, he's like, bro, I just did the game, blah, blah, blah. But like I'm stamping you on TV. Like I'm like you're an NBA point guard. Like you're not just a guy like you're an NBA point guard. And I get to my phone, my mom's like, yo, the Isaiah Thomas that we all love and the one that you idolize, like he was just pleading to GMs and coaches to for you like to get called and like make sure you say thank you. Like make sure you tell them I say thank you.
mm,
So like I got called up like the next day. Dallas gave me an opportunity and I played well in Dallas because JJ Barea was hurt and somebody else was hurt while I was playing. Like, but yeah, so like I got there, like I played right away, and they gave me a nice opportunity, but they had no plans to keep me. Like my last game, I played really well against the Lakers, and they
mm,
already knew had another 2 guys they were bringing in.
mm,
So as soon as I got cut from Dallas, I played one more G League game, and I had like 40, 45 or something. And then New Orleans called me up because I went to training camp with New Orleans that year, and I finished the season with them. I signed a 2-year deal with them. Second year, non guaranteed. Then I went to summer league. I got first team all summer league. I was killing, but then Rondo, they had to sign Rondo, and they signed Darius Miller. So which I had to get waived. So I ended up signing with Atlanta, like just off a favor. Grant Hill made a call for me, and we played in the summer league. We played Atlanta twice. I was
mm,
averaging like down on them, so
mm,
it made sense when I became available. Got there, I got to play with Coach Bud, but they had no plans of me. They kept one of our point guard who was in the G League too, but like it wasn't even close. Like I got to Atlanta and they was like they had just got done rebuilding. So like they were trying to rebuild, so they unloaded Dwight Howard, Millsap, Korver, Jeff T, like their whole core like was gone.
mm,
Um, they just paid Schroeder, and like John Collins was a rookie, Torian was a rookie, um, Like they was young. My Michael Delaney, he was there, and I'm there. We playing pickup, and like I just played in the league. Like I just got done cooking summer league, so like I'm on blast. Like my game is I feel really good about my game. So I'm there. We playing pickup. I'm like, yo, I'm like top 5 players here. Like we gonna make some stuff shake.
Yeah.
Bro, man, like my first preseason game, we played Miami. I had 9 and like 4.
Yeah.
I ain't play again. Like, I ain't play again at all. Like Coach Bud ain't put me in a game at all. So and my contract was guaranteed the Saturday after our last preseason game. So like it's my 3rd year. This is my 3rd year out. It's my 3rd year like removed from college. So it's my 3rd as a pro.
Mhm.
So like I've been living like out of a suitcase for like 2, 3 years. You know what I'm saying? G League. And I had a little spot back home, but I was only during the summer.
Mhm.
I need a spot. Like, so I'm in Atlanta, like, and they're like, man, you gonna make the team. Like everybody telling me you gonna make the team, you gonna make the team, you gonna make the team. So I told my agent, I'm like, yo, look, I'm about to get a spot. Like, everybody telling me, like, you sure I'm good? Like, I'm straight. He's like, yeah, you gonna make the team. So I get a spot, bro. Like I really ain't made that much. I ain't really made no money, bro. Like besides like my 3 10 days and the rest of my check. Um, I was owed during the Warriors. I mean, not the Warriors, the Pelicans, but
Mhm.
like I'm like, bro, I can't just be putting no down payments like this. If you know what I'm saying,
You know,
like
on the team.
straight, man. I stopped playing like the last 3 preseason games. I stopped playing. Like, I don't play at all. Like I probably played like at the end of the game, like the last minute one time, and then I got 2 DMPs. But I'm killing in practice. Like I'm killing.
Mm.
That's when I kind of realized like the politics and business behind it. Like I said in Dallas, the 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 decision was already made. Like I could have had 30. Like
Mhm.
wasn't staying. They already kind of had they wasn't it. So they plans, which I respected. They told me they kept it 100 with me. Something you don't agree with it, but it is what it is. So man, I stopped playing. So I told my agent, I'm like, yo, Jim, like, I ain't playing. Like, are you sure? Like, I'm gonna make the team? Like,
Mhm.
how you good? So we had a last game on Thursday. We had off on Friday. Like I said, my contract was guaranteed on Saturday, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Off, me, I'm going to the facility, get some work in. They made us play like 3-on-3. It was like me, Tyler Dorsey, John Collins, TP, a couple of the young guys. And they was playing 3-on-3. And I'm playing well, whatever. But nobody say nothing to me. Like, but I ain't thinking nothing of it because nobody's really in there to say something to me. I
Mhm.
just know it's guaranteed in a couple of hours.
Mhm.
So I ain't even trying to stick around though. I'm really just trying to get in and out. So man, so that day I moved into my apartment. And anybody who's like moved into a spot, man, you gotta mount TVs, you gotta get your furniture. Like, so I'm doing all that. I had my brother come to town, help me. We doing all that, bro. And he was like, I called my agent. I'm like, man, I just moved in. I'm straight. Nobody said nothing to me in practice. Somebody said nothing to me. Not practice when I went to work out. He was like, man, it's 99% chance like you good, straight. Me, I'm like, what's that 1%?
Yeah. Nah, for real. That's a valid question to ask, though.
3 times already. So I'm like, man, I need to know what's that 1%. He's like, man, the trade can happen, but I doubt it, man. Like everybody's roster's final tomorrow. So I'm like, cool. So I'll never forget it, bro. I'm doing all the crib stuff, TV stuff. We hooking up. I'm screwing in stuff, and I'm doing the most. But me and my brother, we get it done. And I put one of my favorite movies on 5 Heartbeats, bro. Like I had my phone, and I just put my phone down, like put my feet up, like whoo, like man, today's been a long day. I'm talking about the movie couldn't even start. Look at my
Yeah.
phone. Agent called me. He like, yeah, Cleveland just traded Kay Felder and Richard Jefferson to Atlanta, so they gotta waive you.
What?
I'm like, dog, no way, bro. And that was the point in my career where I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm about to do. Like, I don't know what I'm about to do. I called Nolan, called KD, like I'm spazzing. I'm like, yo, bro, this crazy. Like, bro, like I don't know what I'm about to do. I told Nolan, I'm like, man, I'm gonna take a year off, bro. Like he was coaching at Duke at the time.
Mhm.
I'm, I'm gonna take a year off, man. I come to Duke a lot. Like I got a spot here in Atlanta now that you know. So like I come back and forth to work out with you at Duke, and I just be around. But I wasn't mentally ready to go overseas at that time.
Mhm.
So I'm just like, I'm gonna take a year off because I can't go back to the G League because I literally just did everything possible in the G League.
Yeah, what else you gonna accomplish?
And I don't know. So Nolan, like you emotional right now, I get it. Sleep it off, call me in the morning. So
Mhm.
like usually like, I'm like super laser focused, mama mentality, all that stuff. But I'm like, man, I got a crib in the A, man. I'm about to enjoy it. Man, we about to go out. I'm about to have some vibes. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna turn up.
Mhm.
I ain't drink, but like 'cause I ain't drink at the time, but I'm like, man, we about to enjoy it, man. We
Mm.
all over the city. Man, I go to sleep at like 8 a.m., bro. I woke up at like noon. I had like 9 missed calls from my agent, and I had like 5 missed calls from Steve Kerr. And I'm like, dang, like, so Steve's like, man, we want to utilize you. We're going to sign you as a two-way because we want to keep 14 people on the roster, but we're going to treat you as our third string point guard.
Mhm.
And music to my ears, man. And I was on the plane the next day with the Warriors. And it's crazy how that works because, like, that year, you know, no disrespect to my guys in the A, but they was the worst team in the league that year. So, you know, literally got cut by the worst team of the worst team, you know, of the year of that league. And, you know, I signed the best team, literally. So, you know, it's crazy how life be working sometimes. When I first got there, obviously, like, you know, I had a relationship with Steph because obviously I played with his brother Seth
Mhm.
at played against Draymond in college. Like we always had that mutual love. Um, but like, you know, I was KD's little brother, so you know, I always was with K. But like on the court and like in the facility, I was always, you know, grouped with Iggy and Dot, Sean Livingston. So
Mhm.
I literally like my lockers was next in between them for the next 2 years. You know, they just always gave me that game, and I was lucky. But after like Steph got hurt the first time, and
Mhm.
I was going back and forth from there in the G, I was with two-way, and I was when I was playing with Santa Cruz, like you know, like I had played 20, 25 games in the league already, and I had destroyed summer league. So when I was going back down to the G League, like I wasn't like mentally, like I wasn't like acting like I'm better than everybody. I wasn't carrying like that. But like my play was just on another level. And I had a really good team. Like it was me, Georges Niang, Damian Lee, and Damian Jones. Like we were stacked. So like, man, I was killing. But it was good for me because I'm playing, and then Steph goes down. I'm already in game mode, and it's like I go there. Like when I was playing with the Warriors at first, like I would just play like when we get blown out, or if we were blowing somebody up, right?
Mhm.
Like it was either or with the Warriors. Like we might just get blown out one night because we don't care, or like we might just win, or we're gonna blow somebody out.
Mhm.
So like I wasn't playing. I played like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. But when Steph went down, they put me straight in the starting lineup because they wanted Sean Livingston to stay with the second unit. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like so I literally was going from not playing to starting, but I was playing down in G League and I had game rhythm.
Mhm.
So I got up there and it was just night and day. I had that confidence already. Everybody's worried about Kevin and Clay and Draymond and D West and all these guys around me. I just had so much space and opportunity. So I was hooping. So when Steph got back, that's when they first started letting me shoot with him. Like, so that was like when I knew I could really shoot. Steph and Clay was like, man, Quinn, start shooting with us after practice. So I shot with them every day after practice, and that obviously made me, you know, a better shooter and made me like really like get to see greatness on an everyday basis. So, man, it was fun, man. It was fun. I was like a fan. Like the first like couple months I was there, I had to kind of get out of the fan mode. You know, so
Yeah.
actually partners, bro. Like you hear, like you got to help man. So that was like the best year of my life, just basketball, because man, it was lit. We won the championship. I got to play a lot. I was going crazy. And then when Steph got hurt the second time, and I was scoring 20s and 30s. When Steph came back with the playoffs, I was still in a rotation. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
was still Steve was like, "Nah, we got to play Quinn, so we got to figure these minutes out." So, nah, that was great. That was great. That was great to be a part of that.
talk about the championship run, the Raptors. I remember like one of your moments where you hit like a clutch shot. I think like Drake was on the sideline. I don't know if
Oh,
you remember. I feel like that finals is like one of the littest finals of all time. I don't know if you could debate with people, but that I don't know, something about that time was so lit.
yeah,
Everyone tuned in to every single game.
yeah.
So how was that for you?
Now, I mean, I'm still sick about that we lost.
Yeah, y'all could have, yeah,
Obviously, all credit to Toronto.
yeah,
They went through a gauntlet of the East that year. They had to beat Giannis. They had to beat Embiid and Simmons and Jimmy Butler. You know what I'm saying? So they deserve to be there for sure.
mhm,
Obviously, us not having Kevin. Remember, I think Looney broke his like collarbone, and
yeah,
Andre could barely even walk. Him
yeah,
and had obviously with their age, and you got to think 2019, bro. They had went to 4 straight finals,
yeah,
15, 16, 17, 18. So those guys were a little older, so they wear and tear. And DeMarcus had got hurt in the playoffs that year too. So obviously we wish we were at full strength, but that's about it. That's everybody's not 100%, in June when it's time to play. So I never want to discredit, the Raptors. Um, funny like thing people like don't know. Like me and Drake got close because obviously him and Kevin are like really, 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 really close. So
yeah,
anytime we're in Toronto, like we're going to his crib, we eat dinner, we doing stuff. So the night before that game, game two,
mhm,
um, I seen Drake at dinner. Like I seen Drake at dinner. And the night of the game, he had something at his crib. So I went over there and man, he was just like, man, we gonna beat y'all. Like they beat his game. Was like, man, we got y'all, bro. But we talking this stuff or whatever, whatever. So it's funny when I hit the shot and he was looking like that. It was a funny moment. And he sends me the picture that went viral after the game. He had a laugh about it. So it was dope, man. It was a great experience. It was something that, I still, watch to this day. I'm like, wow, I really had that experience. Like that's crazy. So nah,
uh,
it was a great 6 game series for sure.
if y'all would have had KD, I think y'all would have won that. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
I ain't even gonna lie.
He came back, bro, like that game five when he came back, like it was one of the craziest experiences I've been a part of because like Kevin, he's a basketball savant. Like he just loves basketball. And he was working out with his therapist and his trainer 2 times a day to try to get back, man. Like when he got hurt against Houston, he got hurt against Houston I want to say game five.
5. Yeah, I think it was game 5. Yeah,
So
yeah,
every day until like we went to Toronto, like he literally like, cause I go to the crib, like he's going back to the facility and getting more work in. So like he was trying his hardest, and man, like when he didn't travel with us to Houston or he didn't travel with us to Portland, so we only really around him like at home. So like Toronto hosted, they hosted game 1 and 2. So when he got on the plane with us, he was like, hey, okay, like so we didn't know if he was playing or not, like, but when he came back game five, like it was like, dang, like we got our big brother back. He was down 3-1.
mm,
And for him, he just felt like he owed it to him. He owed it to himself. And that's what type of dude he is, man. And you just seen the difference of like ability when he was on the floor, man. Like, he ain't played in a month and a half, and he's first shot all net. Like he got the best defender in the world for wide guarding. You know what I'm saying? So that ain't no, but that's how good he is, man. And just to see him go down like that was just it broke my heart, man. It broke my heart because he literally put his body on the line, for his guys, for us, man. And I don't think that gets talked about enough. A lot of people, all he does is now you can have your own narrative, your own opinion, but anybody who knows him, anybody who's been able to share, that locker room with him, understands that he has, everybody's back, man, and he wants everybody to be great, and he's going to try whatever he can do to, help us win. So he definitely put his life, not his life, but his body on the
body
line.
on the line.
I'll thank him for that forever, even though we still lost. He did something that I don't think a lot of people would do.
Did he know it was torn before? Was it torn before the game or he tore it during the game?
I believe he tore it before the game, but like I
Uh-huh.
mean, no. I believe he tore it during the game. But
Oh,
like
okay.
on the court, like he'll do his little skill stuff, but like he only had one practice with us. Like he did We did like 5-on-0. We did our layup drill. It's the night before game 5. It's like we don't know. Like, is he playing? Is he playing? And I don't want to be like the annoying little brother, like, bro, tell me so you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even ask him, like, bro, just do what's best for you. Do whatever you think.
Mm-hmm.
But he's doing 5-on-0. We did 3-on-2, 2-on-1. And then he played 1-on-1 against like the younger guys who weren't playing the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the practice. And then the next day, shoot around. Obviously, we just kind of get up shots and go through like, our coverage is, I was gonna guard and whatever. So you can't really see like how he looks now. But I never forget he put in a group chat like, I'm playing y'all. And like everybody got up, you know what I'm saying? So no, I don't think it was torn before, but there had to be something obviously for him to make the move like that and just go. So man, yeah, it was wild. That was a wild time.
As a fan, like, as a fan of the sport, following that, like, because, you go on Twitter to try to get the whatever and, asking whatever. That was, as a fan, that personally was like so lit. I know it's obviously tough, but you got one, but like as a fan, just watching that whole finals is just crazy. It was the most entertaining in a long, long time, man.
That was a lit one,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, that was lit. But the time you did win with the Warriors, how was that finals? Like your finals experience during that, how was that, getting one,
Man,
so.
so like the part like about that was like obviously like we the Warriors, they had went to 3 straight championships. But I went to 3 straight finals, won 2.
Mhm.
But like that year, like, well, I'm gonna speak for me. That year, I didn't expect LeBron and them to make it. Like that was the year
Mhm.
they traded everybody. It was Kyrie's first year in Boston, I believe. That's when they had like D Rose, IT, like they kind of traded the whole team.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
They got Jordan Clarkson, George Hill. You know what I'm saying? So then they were like 4 seed, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Um, so obviously you never want to count Braun out because he had went to all them straight finals, but I mean, I don't think anybody expected, the Cavs to make it. And we had went through, we played San Antonio the first round, beat them in 5, with no Steph. Steph comes back against New Orleans, we beat them in 5. And then obviously there was this big, rivalry created between us and Houston. They were the number 1 seed, we're number 2 seed. So we end up going 7 games with them. Iggy gets hurt game 3. Chris Paul gets hurt game 5. We was down 3-1, had to come back and win. Beat them game 7 in Houston. And like that felt like the change. Like, I was crying after that game, like, but because I had a moment in that series where like I missed the game winner in game 5, and I just felt bad. Dang, bro, it's the one time I get with the Warriors, we about to lose. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I just felt like I wanted it bad, man. And I was in the rotation game 7. Like I got in early. Game 7, I got to play in that game 7, the Western Conference Finals to go to the chip. And I had 0 pounds. I probably had zeros across the board, but like I just felt like it was like my last game ever. So I wanted to do as much as possible. And we end up winning. Um, and then we go to the finals and like, damn, we got Braun. So that's when Braun had the crazy game 1. Like, he had 50 and whatever he had. Like it was the most
And he
impressive
broke his hand. Yeah, most impressive stat line ever.
performance that I ever seen in person.
Yeah.
We end up sweeping him. He broke his hand, I remember. So we
Mhm.
ended up sweeping him. But the cool part about that was, so I wasn't active. They didn't make me active the last 2 games. They made because Patrick McCall had just came back. I don't know if you remember. He landed crazy. He had
Oh
to
yeah,
come
I do remember that. Yeah. Yeah. Patch,
back
yep. Hmm.
active for that. And then Iggy, he like speeded his recovery up. Obviously, an emergency to guard Brown and give us some minutes. So the last 2 games I wasn't active, and I felt the way about that. But I respected Steve Kerr. Steve was like, man, I just want to reward the guys. We've been here the whole year, blah blah blah. And it hurt at the time, but was mad for 20 minutes, and then all right, back to the team. We're about to win you 2 games to win the championship. Well, you was just in the G League a year and a half ago. You was just on the couch in Atlanta crying about you about to take a year off. So like anytime where I kind of get like in my feelings and feel bad, I just kind of think how blessed I am. So and which isn't easy. But I'm like, bro, you 2 games away from the finals, bro. Playing against the team that gave you your first opportunity. You're in your dad's hometown. Like,
Mm.
how how could this get any better? So, um, and I'm saying that to say, when we won it, everybody was looking for me. Like, everybody was trying to like, Quinn, like, bro, you won. Like, you a champ. Like, that's when like the viral video of Steph. Like, when you see Quinn Cook, make sure you call him champion. Like, Kevin's first thing he did was find me and hug me and just he was like, man, we came from, C Pleasant Rec and Run and Shoot and Central High School and Largo High School to we in Quicken Loans Arena hosting Larry O'Brien. Like, it doesn't like
Don't get much better than that. You can't.
better, bro. So
So crazy,
that
man.
was the best part. Like, everybody was like trying to find me and like trying to show me love. Because obviously, like, that was Steph's third, that was Kevin's second, that was Iggy and Draymond, all those guys third. But like, man, they made it like me, Swaggy P, like all they was. You would have thought I was about to win the Finals MVP or something. Like, how much love they was giving me. So that's what kind of dudes those guys are, man. So I'm appreciative. I have pictures, videos that I can cherish forever. I can show my kids, I can show my grandkids, that stuff. So man, they made that very, very, very special for me.
And the fact you won it from somebody from your hometown,
Yeah.
that I know that was like extra special for you.
That next year in Golden State, I had a really good year, but like I like the politics kind of played a part of it.
It
Like,
didn't-
but I finished the year off strong. Um, I played really well that season, and I was I was out of the rotation the first. I started the playoffs in a rotation, and we played the Clippers. I had a really good first 2 games against them. We lost game 2, so I
Mm.
was out of rotation for that series, and I was out the rotation for Houston the next series, and then and then we played Portland. Then I got back in the rotation, and I was in the rotation that those 4 games when we swept them. I was in
Mm.
the rotation, and that was fun. And then we obviously lost in the finals where I was in rotation first. I was in rotation 4 out of the 6 games. No, I was in rotation 5 out of 6 games.
6 games. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun, like to be like a main contributor, like in the finals, like that was lit. But um, the politics and the business happened my free agency. I was a restricted free agent, so they gave me a qualifying offer. But like I had a good season, so
Mm.
agent, he advised me, let's wait and see if we get another offer. And I'll never forget, I was in Miami working out with Vic, and it was the third day of free agency, and yeah, I want to say the second day, Kevin said he was going to Brooklyn or whatever.
Mm.
So the third day, me and Victor literally working out like in the evening, like at like 5. And my agent called me like 3 times. He like, yo, everything's kind of slow, but I think we just signed the offer and you just kill this year. You're gonna play. The ins and outs of the offense. Clay's not gonna be there.
Mm.
He's not gonna play 82 games. So I'm like, all right, bet, let's do it. So he sends the contract over. And I don't think I shared this story publicly yet, but they send an offer over, right? Literally signing. I literally signed my qualifying offer for the Warriors. And
Oh.
they did it. They sent it back and was like, no, I'm sorry. As I was doing it, they sent me a withdrawal. Like, I got the screenshots and everything. Like, you completed, because everything is DocuSign and so everything is on your phone. So I literally completed it and I got the withdrawal back from the lawyer from the Warriors. Like, the Warriors have, withdrew your offer, you know, um, thank you for whatever. Boom. So I'm like, oh, what does it mean? So my
Mm.
agent's like on the phone, furious, like they just withdrew the offer. Like, they just withdrew the offer. I'm gonna call you back.
Mm.
Like, what does this mean? Like, so now I go from being restricted to unrestricted.
Yeah.
First person that calls me is Quinn Snyder from the Jazz. Like, so now I'm being like, hey, we just got word that you're unrestricted. So I'm like, hey, coach, no disrespect, but there's a lot going on. I don't know. I'm confused. Can I talk to you in like 20 minutes?
Yeah.
He's like, all right, cool. I'll call back in 20 minutes. So like I had like 4 teams call me.
Mhm.
So Bron calls me. He's
The
like,
Broncos straight up. How do you find?
bro, I'm
That's
restricted. I
yeah.
need you in LA.
Yeah.
Somebody, hold. What is going on? So I'm just so like, you know what I'm saying? And another thing was I never been pursued by the NBA. Like I'm never like, you know what I'm saying? I always been, my agent has to call, be like, what you think about Quinn? Blah, blah, blah. You know, I was undrafted. I was, you know, a guy on a 10 day. I was a guy in the G League. So it's never been like besides the team that actually signed me. So it was different, like feeling like pursued and wanted. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It was lit. It was lit for like
I
the
bet it was. I would have been
I was
lit.
so confused. I was just so set on I'm going back to Golden State.
Yeah.
So 4 teams called me. Bron called me. Rob Pelinka calls me. The AD calls me, and you know they just got AD. So I kind of felt the weight of Golden State. You know what I'm saying? I felt the weight. I felt like they didn't handle it correctly. Steve Kerr called me. He was like, "What happened?" And like, man, y'all withdrew it. And Steve's like, blah blah blah, saying what he's saying. But he's like, you know, we'd love to have you back. Um, you know, we're keeping the 15 roster spot open. Maybe you can come compete for it. And I'm just like, bro, I won a championship with y'all. Like I was a big contributor for the past 2 years. Nah, I passed. I passed. Steve. And I love Steve. And Steve is me. That's probably been my best coach since Coach K. Like my favorite coach. But you know, I just felt like Golden State owed me a little more than that. So, you know, I professionally declined. And you know, I remember AD called me. I'm like, man, I'm gonna go to the Lakers, bro. Like, I'm gonna go to the Lakers. And it's funny, like I'm just set on the Lakers. I done heard Ron, AD, Palenka. I grew up a Laker, like Kobe right there. Like
Yeah.
biggest Laker fan ever. It was my dad's team. I'm like, I want to go to the Lakers. And it's crazy. My agent couldn't get coach my agent, he couldn't get Rob on the phone. He couldn't get Rob on the phone. Both my agents couldn't.
Mhm.
I'm like, hold on. Call Coach K. Coach K got Rob on the phone in 2 minutes and they got the deal done, bro.
Man, Coach K is so goated.
Yeah, bro. Like I'm saying,
That's
like I'm when I say in 2 minutes, I'm like, yo, coach, like, here's the update. He was like, yeah. He's like, I know I've had a couple of GMs call for you in the last hour. I'm like, yeah, but like I'm overwhelmed. But you know, I just talked to Bron, and you know, like I'm all about winning, and I think you know the Lakers are building something special. Like I want. This is where I want to go.
Mhm.
All right, so what we doing? I'm like, man, my agent can't get Rob on the phone. Like I'll tell him I'm coming right now. I'm telling him I'm signing right now. He was like, hold on, 2 minutes. Literally 2 minutes later,
Got the deal done.
call him. So that's Coach K for you.
What would you have done differently, like instead of signing? Like, do you know what you would have done instead of signing the withdrawal? You know, you said you signed, and then yeah, what would you have done differently if in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know because I was being advised, you know, by my agent not to sign him. Like, you know, we thought we was gonna get more money from other teams, or it was gonna be a better situation from other teams. But there were only 2 teams that really came aggressive, but it was kind of in the same ballpark of what Golden State was offering. And I just thought, you know, the situation at Golden State was just it would have been better than the other 2 teams. So
Mm.
I was advised not to sign him. My agent, you know, we agreed on, you know, we were gonna keep waiting. But I think he saw that. I think he saw that like teams weren't like they weren't as aggressive as we would have thought. So
Mm.
we told him to sign, and I literally left the workout early. I got on one of them scooters, leaving the Grand Marquis back to my Airbnb, running up the stairs. And I literally, you know, they sent over the contract, and I signed it, and then they sent the withdrawal. So I don't know how I could have done anything better. I would have done anything different,
Mhm.
but it ended up working. That was definitely a life lesson, a story I can always tell forever.
Made the right choice, because you got another ring. So I mean, you
Yeah,
can't say you didn't make the wrong choice if you think about it.
it ended up working out for sure. I
Yeah.
developed relationships and bonds with, you know, that I have forever. You know what I'm saying? So, now yeah, I'm definitely We got another ring out of it, so
Yeah.
definitely the right choice for sure.
We got to LA. You're in the bubble. You're playing in the bubble. So tell me what the hell happened when you got to before the bubble, when you found out you guys are gonna do the whole thing in the playoffs in the bubble. And you were on the Lakers on that team that won the chip. So like like the practices, everything. So what was that experience for you? Take me through that.
It was lit. It was
I,
lit.
and this is history, by the way.
Be back with Bron, who I started with. Be back with one of my best friends, AD. Obviously we played together in New Orleans. Um, it was fun, but like it was a whole new team. You know what I'm saying? So like Bron, we had like the players retreat in Vegas. So like we all like ate dinner together, we went out together, like we all had fun, and it was a good group. And
Mhm.
then it was strictly business. I mean, before the pandemic happened, I mean, we was the best team in the league. Like, we was the
Right.
best in the league. We went 2-1. Well, we went 1-2 with the Clippers, but like they knew like it was going to be between us two, and we knew it was going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like we knew that it was the mutual respect for each other.
Mhm.
And we had a great season. We was #1 in the league before COVID. And I remember we played Milwaukee on a Friday in LA, beat them. We played the Clippers on Sunday in LA, obviously, and then we beat them. And then season was over. You know what I'm saying? So obviously we ain't know, just like the world, like we ain't know what we was gonna do. Like if the season was over, we would have like team calls every day just about updates, but our group chat was still, you know what I'm saying, lit. Like we was playing video games with each other the whole time. We was having workouts and stuff. We would work out together and stuff just so we could stay in shape just for if the season would happen. But we was pushing for the season. We knew Bron would be on all the calls, Rob would be on the call, so we knew that we would have all the information needed. But when they came up with the bubble and all that stuff, we was like, I bet, let's do it. Like, let's do it. And I remember when we got there, Jason Kidd was like the team that sacrifices the most is gonna win. You know what I'm saying? So obviously you got guys living in mansions, you got guys who have kids, wife, you have we got their boys with them the whole time. Like nobody could come. It was just you and the team. In the hotel room. I mean, Bron and AD they had suites, but everybody else had a regular.
It was
It
that's
was
how it's supposed to be though. Yeah, yeah,
cool. Like it was like a big AAU trip. It was like a big team camp, and
yeah.
like just we would play video games all day. I don't know if you remember, like during that time they had like the verses. Like we would treat the verses like like we would treat them like concerts. Like we'll
Oh
have
yeah.
John Waiters, he'll bring his hookah. We'll be in Bron's room or AD room, and like we'll have food. Like it was lit. And the
Yeah.
one thing about that like the whole bubble was like no disrespect to any other team, but like you might see a couple players from the Heat, or like you might see a couple players from Nuggets. Like one or two players might be with each other. Like when you saw the Lakers, bro, like you saw all of us, like no less than 5, 6 of us. Like we literally did everything together. And I mean, we had the best two players at the time, Bron and AD. They was on another level. We had the complimentary guys, KCP, Danny Green, Kuz, AC, Rondo, like we just smooth. I mean, we just had everybody. Dwight,
Yeah.
Javed, all the guys playing like it. It just meshed well, man. And we played Dame the first round. We played Harden and Westbrook the second round. Then we played Jokic and Jamal Murray the third round. And then we got Jimmy Butler and the Heat the next round. And Brown, that was personal for Brown. So
Right.
had to get that one for him. And it was great to be a part of it. And I just couldn't wait to get out of there for real. It was lit, but I remember like the
But
night shit was lit. We partied in a little like cabana we had, but I was on a 5 a.m. fly out of there. I got
like everybody got PTSD from Orlando.
I wasn't playing or nothing. Like the best part was me hanging out with the fellas and me being with the guys, but like I wasn't playing, bro. So I was ready to go. I was ready. I was ready. But it was cool. It was a great experience.
That ring, because I feel like that was the hardest because everyone's healthy. Still getting that ring is dope, and getting two of them at that. How would you say? I'm gonna ask you this, the last thing on the Lakers and Warriors, like your experience there. What would you say from a media attention standpoint and pressure standpoint? Because you played on basically the two biggest organizations in a way, right? So what would you say is harder between the Lakers and Warriors, like from a pressure and media standpoint? Steph Curry's like the epitome of, whatever, and LeBron is like there's 24/7 on him all day. So yeah, so what would you say is like, is there different pressure, or is it equally the same?
I would say this. I would say, and Steve, Coach Kerr, he's been on record like saying this, but
Mm,
like, he played with Jordan. He's played with Duncan. He was a GM, like so, and he was a coach, and he was coach of the Warriors. So he's been around the top of the top, the best of the best franchises, whatever, right? I'm
mhm,
saying this to say, obviously, Ron, like the pressure that being his teammate, like if you miss 2 shots in a row, like you're gonna be on first take tomorrow,
mm,
saying that you need to be traded, um, he's not good, blah blah blah. You got the pressure. Just every game is just that's what Braun brings. That's the good and the bad,
mm,
but more good, right? Just
mhm,
because it's just he just brings that level of greatness out you. But I'm saying this to say, especially in LA too, because LA, their fans are just diehard, bro. Like they examine from everything, bro. Like it's just they take it so serious. That was me growing up. It could be a regular season game. If the Lakers losing, I might cry. The next day I'm salty. Like don't say nothing to me about the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Like diehard fan.
yeah,
Um, so that's pressure in itself, and they're obviously playing with LeBron. But that second year in Golden State, when we got DeMarcus,
mhm,
like it was just so closely like scrutinized, and they had went to 4 straight finals, and just like it was just. And then I remember when Draymond and Kevin got into their thing. So like every day it was a new narrative, it was a new topic, it was this and that. So
mhm,
that season, like the pressure just that was the most pressure season I've ever been a part of for sure. Different though with the Lakers if you like had like a real season, but everything kind of stopped and then we had no distractions in LA. Like I mean in the bubble. Like we had no distractions and like being with Bron every day, like we ain't watching first take. Like we not watching what people are saying, in on TV. Like usually I watch First Take, I watch Undisputed, but like Brown don't watch that. So like literally
yeah,
like we Brown, AD, and Dudley like with each other every second of that bubble. And
mhm,
like it wasn't on that. And like I wasn't like playing to where like I'm not checking like what's people saying online. Obviously, the narrative, we load, you lose game one, you know what Twitter's gonna be saying. Like you know the regular stuff, but
mhm,
I didn't really feel the pressure just because I wasn't playing. And also like just Brian be so laser focused on and AD be so late. Like AD's not on social media. Like they be so locked in. Like so the people that's locked in with him, like me wasn't, I know I wasn't paying attention to that stuff. So
mhm,
I would definitely say the Warriors that next year because the media and everybody was just so closely scrutinizing us and trying not to see us win that
mhm.
last year. That was probably the most scrutinized team that I've been a part of. You remember what D West said? What he said after his last year with us?
Yeah, he said the this is like the basically he was saying all the stuff they had went through even behind the scenes. He didn't share like, the details, but he
Exactly.
know. Yeah.
Even that 2018 year, like that was D West's second year. That was the second year him winning. But
Mhm,
like it was a lot. Like there's a lot that goes into like those teams and being on a super team, like doing all this and that. Like it was a lot. Even my first year, like I was just so like fanned out and just so green and everything because I was so young and just happy to be there. Like a lot
mhm,
of that stuff really just went, you know, and one day out the other. I just never really realized how important that moment was, or that conversation, or this argument was. But that next year, I was a little bit more hip to, oh wow, this and that. So yeah, I mean those teams really, scrutinized from the outside, and the fact that we got to stay together and accomplish some great things is definitely amazing to me.
Down here, he's like he runs like all the AU stuff here. So and his body was getting all beat down. It's like, nah, man, yo, it was like that shit is not what it looks like. Yo, it's like your body.
D West, bro, D West.
It's my OG, man.
My first, so my best game with New Orleans my rookie year was against the Warriors.
Yeah.
And I go for a layup.
Mm.
D West like hard foul, like send him to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Man, get you a floater, young fella." Right? So next time lane, he's right there. I shoot a floater and I make it or whatever. So come back down. He like taps me on the head, like the shot. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I had my best game against them that year. And then the next year when I started playing with him, me and D West was always in the second unit together.
Mhm.
So we always had a great bond. And then I'll never forget D West is like, D West is like
Yeah.
very,
Great. Yeah.
like very intellectual brother. Like um
Huh.
we beat Houston game 7.
Mhm.
And D West, I'll never forget. Like we all chilling, like we all in front of, like I said, like I felt like we won the. It felt like we won the finals when we beat Houston that year because it was just such a grueling like series.
Yeah.
Guys were playing, guys that drink, they drinking a beer. Dudes are drinking wine on there. Me and Jordan Bell, we don't drink. We just turned up. We just turned up off. Bro? Finals, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, D West, he pulls his speaker out his bag. He throws on that Usher, that
Oh,
old.
that's David for you. That's
Man, we was jamming the whole fight, man. I got a video. Of that. D West is D West is one of my favorite teammates ever, man. He still texts me to this day. I talked to his AU team a couple times. I sent
yeah,
my team
Giro.
a couple times. Like a really, 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 really good dude, man. I was thankful, because I grew up watching him too. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
was thankful, have a relationship with him too.
He looked out for me like crazy, man. That's like my OG. Yo, but like I said, for you to get like a NCAA championship and then get 2 rings, bro, goated. I'm trying to like like legendary stuff, bro. You had like terrific career so far. You still playing. Even overseas, went on to overseas like a year ago, you just dropped 54.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You just dropped 54. So are you still are you currently you trying to get for another deal? Like what are you aiming for?
Hoop, man, but obviously the situation gotta be right. Um,
Facts.
Actually, in China, we was back in the bubble.
Mm,
It was tough, man. And then like after I had the big game over there, I started getting some NBA attention. So,
mm,
me, I'm a guy like I'm always want to play in the league, but I did it. Like I played a long time in the league, so
mm.
it's not just like the NBA or nothing. Because obviously going over there, like you appreciate like dang, like these dudes is really good over here, or even the guys that didn't never played in the NBA but have had long
On.
successful careers over there. It's like, man, these dudes can play. So
Mm,
it was eye opening for me, but like, um, I just kind of like stopped playing in China after I scored 50, man. And I'm like, man, I'm not about to be sitting in China if I'm not playing. So
mhm.
I thought I was gonna get some NBA attention. I had some teams tell me they were interested, and I came home and they never signed me. So I'm still waiting, man. I got a new agent. So trying to figure it out, man. I just want to go to a good situation so I can hoop because I'm in my prime right now. So I'm ready to hoop, man. I tweeted something today, like, man, I just want to go hoop. Like I miss going to shoot around. I miss
Mm.
going to sleep early, knowing I got a game tomorrow. I miss, watching coverages and watching film. Like I miss all that day-to-day routine, joking on the plane and stuff like that. So I'm eager to get back, man, because my game feels good. But obviously the situation has to, make sense.
Man, dog, bro. I appreciate you so much doing this, bro.
This is
Man.
you got a great
Thank
platform. You guys, you know what I'm saying? You give guys their flowers and you let guys, vent, you let them tell their story, you let them know, what I'm saying, how important they are. Like I said, we reached out and watching you. So
thank you, man.
sure.